Good afternoon, people. I've got a Vokira Compact 29A boiler here. The problem what we had with this boiler was there was some sort of a burping or popping noise from the main exchanger unit over here. As you can see there, that one. Couldn't quite understand what was wrong with it. So I've been having a bit of fiddling around with this, basically. Not touching the gas side of it, just the electrical side of it. And I accidentally managed to release the pressure from the exchanger vessel here on that side there. Okay, now under the manufacturer's recommendation, that should be, there it is, that one, should be 1 bar basically. So I'm going to recreate the pressure, but to do that you must release any pressure within the system with the knob basically. The mine's situated within the, just behind that. And then I will also be replacing the thermistor for the heat, hot water, and also talk you through as to what the root cause of this popping and burbling noise was basically. So let's get to there. It'll be awkward because I'm going to turn the boiler off. Okay, I need to unscrew this, drop this over. Forgot to get the screwdriver, so let's unscrew this. Okay, that gets dropped off. I'm going to now turn the knob here to release the pressure. Right, and that has released all the pressure. Okay, so I've got 0 here. Now I'm going to go into the main exchanger vessel. Oh, it's going to be really hard. There's a little thingy there on the top here. There, that's where the pressure is. You repressurize. So remember, you've got to release any pressure from the main unit, from the central heating side of it, or at the bottom, before you can actually repressurize the vessel. Okay, so what I will be using is a car pump. Can you give me an extension lead quickly? I'm going to power this up basically, so it's really hard when you're working and you want to sort of record. It's difficult. This is why I've started sort of doing a thingy. I'll show you what I'm doing here on the bench. It's a car battery what I'm using. That's getting plugged into the mains through an extension lead. Okay, so that's what's going on. This is what I will be using to recreate the pressure up to 1 bar. I've got an extension lead here, just bear with me, let me just get this hooked up onto the plug socket. I should have made all that ready, but I didn't. Maybe I haven't had my thinking cap on today. Okay, so let's do that, that's powered on. Let's just test and make sure that it's working. Come on. So the pump is working, it's should be. Right, I hope you're getting all this. Maybe not, it doesn't matter, that's not the relevance of the video. Okay, and is it switched on? It is switched on, so why am I not getting any power? Okay, so that's working. I'm just going to get a hand, that's it. Right, let's go up there now and show you what's happening. Okay, so So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild the pressure. So 1 bar. It's not on bar settings, that's my mistake. I'm going to release it just to make sure that everything's functioning as it should do. It's gone back onto PSI. Okay. So I've reached 1 bar, just release a little bit off it, I may lose a little bit, okay, that's alright, then that'll be good enough that. Okay, I'm struggling taking it off basically, just because how close the fluid. Right, so that's been taken care of. We'll go full down. That can come down. Okay. Right, so the pressure has been recreated for the extraction vessel. I'll put the cap back on. Okay. Right, so the cap is back on now. Okay. So what's next? Next, what I'm going to do is, well, I would like to change the thermistor and test it, but what I would like to show you here, the main video, the primary reason why I'm doing this video is to show you what went wrong here. Now, I do advise that you need a Corgi registered or a registered electrician to do this basically. Don't do it yourself. The purpose of the video is just to show you what happened, why it was causing all this banging noise and everything basically. Obviously the boiler is switched off. Okay, I'm going to pull this out. Nice and gently. And show you what's going on. Okay. Right, I'll get the camcorder off the stand and start sort of demonstrating what's going on here on a closer range. I just hope that don't stop it accidentally. Right, okay, so let's go. Right, what's happening? Okay, so on this Bokira Compact 29A, when you have a gas registered engineer or boiler registered or boiler engineer come over for servicing, first thing they would do is release the crystals. They're like white hard powder from this bit here, from the pipe, and usually the build up is at the bottom here, and that's when you start throwing some sort of error or the boiler won't work. All it is that clip off, disconnect from the hose pipe, make sure you have a bowl, make sure you cover all the electrical side of it with the towel, and basically that gets cleaned out and just on a sink and get rid of all these white powdery crystals, whatever you want to call it basically. Now on my case the other night when it stopped working, what happened was, this is your main exchanger unit. Obviously fans attached and various other things, your gas coming in from there into this unit. See this bit? This is what was building up water, and it actually built up when it shouldn't be building up water at all. Normal function is that should stay clear, no water. All it is the condensation or whatever you want to call it goes through here, out into the flue, and outside basically. So when you're outside and when the boiler is running, you see a little drop of water. That's where the condensation is going down and up basically. But also that this reservoir is connected to the pipe what I've just shown. So if you follow it along, goes down there, the plastic pipe goes down here, and that goes out basically. So what happened was, as I said, on my case, there was an excessive build of water. You can just about see the leftover of the crystal, and there's more here. There you go. Okay, so what I did is I got myself a strip of cable ties, long cable tie, and I poke it through. I will show you what I've actually done. In fact, I might do that again. So I'll unclip this. Okay, just make sure you do cover your electrical stuff and everything, and make sure you don't snap anything. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put the camcorder down and go and grab some cable ties, and I'll show you what I have to do basically, so just bear with me. Right, okay, so I'm back. Okay, so all I'm doing is I've got a cable tie like this, okay, and basically, let me get this camera, I think it's twisted, so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, because the trouble is you can't flush this out. You've got to take the whole exchanger unit out. I can't see that coming off it that easily, so the whole exchanger unit has to come out, and you can't be doing that because you need a gas engineer to do that. So the way I dealt with it is I threw a stack of cable tie through this here, okay, and started poking it. And as I started poking it, normally I'd recommend you holding this and poking it. I'm just doing this just for the purpose of the video basically. It actually released the blockage, and it threw out a lot of water and a lot of white crystals basically that was built up over the years. So that's how I actually released and sorted that out. Let me put this back on. There will be drips of water, so you do need to sort of make sure that you've got a bowl or something underneath. Okay, and I'll put this back with the clip fastened. Okay, that's done. Now what I'm going to focus on is replacing the thermistor basically. So but the main purpose, as I said, and I know I'm repeating this, is when you start hearing some sort of like a popping noise, this is your culprit. This is where the crystals, you can still see there's an immense amount of stuff left behind. I've released the vast majority and the blockage from the back here, there, so I'm not focusing on taking it this out and messing around with the gas side of it. Absolutely not happening that. So yeah, that's that. It's working fine. However, I do have a slight problem with the boiler, that the temperature seems to drop when I'm running hot water. So I believe it's the thermistor here, there, over there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of take that out. There's a clip there, a little bit of a fiddling around to do. I'm not going to sort of take the video shoot of doing that, but I will be doing a video shoot of showing how I've gone about testing the thermistors, new one versus the old one, in terms of using a multimeter to figure out whether if that is still working or not. But due to the duration of the boiler what we've had, I believe that that's what the root cause of it is. So yeah, I'll get back to you. Let me sort of take it out, and then I'll test the thermistors and let you know what's going on. Okay, so see you back shortly. Before moving on to the replacement of the thermistor, what I've done is I've put the panel back on for the main heat exchanger, because this needs to be kind of sealed, because there's a vacuum goes into the gas valve here from the exchanger unit. So make sure that this is done properly. Again, I wouldn't advise you to do that, you know, if you're not technically minded or if you're not a qualified gas engineer. But bear in mind that, see how this has gone in. That's how the case, which is this, needs to go back on, and same applies in the inside as well. Now, I haven't got enough light. Let me see if I can get a bit of light. This needs to flush fit basically, so it's not something they can just sort of rush and put it in. Let's just see. Let me go closer. See how that's gone from top to bottom here, and then top to, there we go. You can just about see. Let's go down a little bit more. You know, when you want light, there you go. You can just about see where I'm coming from. There we go. Okay, so that needs to be, 4 bolts needs to go back. Okay, and then I'll be working on this rascal there. That one over here. That's where the thermistor is. I've got to pull that cable out, get this out, replace, test it, and then sort of see if the problem has gone away in terms of the temperature drop basically. So effectively what happens, when I mean by temperature drop, is that you set your hot water to about, say, I set mine to about 40, 44, 45. That's roughly about 44, 45. Now when you run the tap, it goes down to 30, 33, 29, and then it builds its way back up basically. So that's that. And secondly, I believe that it's due for a change, because that's what commonly goes wrong with these boilers anyway, or any boilers I should say. So that's that. I do have a little bit of an issue with the gauge. I believe it's a little bit erratic, but I don't see the necessity of changing that at the moment, but we'll see. So just bear with me. Let me sort of take this out, and then I'll do a measurement on it. Okay, there has been a bit of a dilemma in terms of figuring out what the actual true value of this thermistor is and whether if it's working or not. So on the last bit, after doing a bit of research, what I have established is the fact that first thing first is I've got to sort of measure the temperature of the thermistor. Okay, so we're looking at, this is a digital thermometer basically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just measure and show you what the temperature is. Okay, so all I'm doing is just probing in top of that, and that is reading as, let's just wait for about 10 seconds. So we'll call it 16 degrees Celsius at the moment, right? Okay, so very quickly, if it's 16 degrees Celsius, let me probe around and tell you what the range is. So that's running about 12, 13. Okay, so I have to be quick on that, 12, 13, right? Okay, so when you look at the temperature, near enough 15, so say 16, whatever it is. If it was 15 degrees Celsius, it'd be around about 15,844 kilo ohms here, basically. If it's 20 degrees Celsius, it should read about 1253.8 basically. So let's keep on. I just want an accurate number basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the thermometer back on and see if I can build it up to about 20 degrees Celsius basically. That's my hand temperature. Okay, let's sort of just get this touched. I just want something nearer to that temperature, so the near to the temperature on the chart basically. So I'm going to try and sort of build this up, maybe up to 20 if I'm lucky, if I can get it done. Let's probe again and see what's happening here. But okay, so it's in the region of 20 basically. So we're going to be sort of let's get this looked at again. It's easy. There's plenty of instruction by plumbers showing how to do this. So that's in the region of 20. So let's see what the resistance is on that. Battery's dying on the multimeter. That's the reason why the LED is cutting out. Okay, and that's reading as 11. Let's have a look. It's a bit of a nuisance with the way these connectors have been put on basically. Absolute freaking nuisance. It's kind of a pain on the ass basically to try and probe around them because of how close they are basically. So that's showing as 10.9, right? Okay, so let's sort of I think there's a bit of a delay, and it's my sort of thingy. I hope you can see the measurements, but batteries sort of, let's see if you can. Yeah, you can just about see the measurements on it. The battery's sort of dying out. Okay, so it's still reading 10.5, 10 points, whatever it is. Now let's see what the measurement. Let's take the measurements of the thermometer, the sensor. That's reading at 22. So 22. Going off the chart, 22 roundabout. Yep, so 22, let's see what it is now. 22.5, and that's reading 10,000. So we're near enough. It's off by ever so slight, but according to the chart, so it's 23 degrees Celsius, yep. 23 degrees Celsius, and I'm getting 10.25 kilo ohms. When you look at the chart, 22, so that sort of, it's a little bit out, but it's near there. However, I decided to change the thermistor anyway, because it was for what I paid £3 for this new one. Might as well just replace it basically. So that's one been taken care of. So that's how you do the testing side of it. The chart's available somewhere on the manufacturer's website. I couldn't find it. I've had to locate this through some other source basically. But yeah, here we are. So the boiler's working absolutely fine. Let me sort of show you. It's been several hours since I've put everything back together, and yeah, it's working smashing. The pressure's still where it should be, and you know, now you know that when you're getting knocking burbly or popping noise out of your main heat exchanger unit, obviously the culprit is there, the blockage basically. I do advise you the fact that don't work on these units unless you know what you're doing, and not to touch the gas side of it unless you've got a Corgi registered, and whatever work they carried out. Number one, if you're working on the plumbing side, fair enough, okay. Beside the gas and electric, again, caution, you do need somebody who, a Corgi register, a boiler, somebody who's qualified to repair boilers, basically. Main switch off, main power supply, the water feed off, and do not touch the gas. If you're working with it, that's fine. You're going to do that, you do it at your own risk, but I would advise you not to mess about with it. And do sort of keep an eye out on these crystal build on this out pipe. This goes outside basically. This is the drainage. This actually goes outside. So the condensing water comes through here and it goes out into the thingy basically. Right, okay, on the final note, obviously I've shown you how to get rid of all the crystal builds. The unit is calibrating now itself. I've changed the thermistor. I don't think the old one was too bad, but I've still replaced it. And 1 bar of pressure on the expansion vessel. The expansion heat exchanger, that's been the under tray has been cleared, and here we go. The boiler's on. Let's moment of truth. Let's fire it up, and well, it's fired up, but let me just run the hot tap and see what happens now. Okay, so let's. So we get hot water fully to build itself up, and this is what I meant by the slightly erratic gauge. It's on 1 bar, but as soon as you run the water, stupidly it's dropping down basically. So that's that. But let's just see. Yes, I can hear the boiler, the heat exchangers burning. Gas. So it's fired up. I mean to say it's firing. Yes, I can feel the hot water coming through. There was a bit of a bleeding process that needed to be carried out. Also, I've serviced this unit there, which filters all the carbon and everything, whatever it is. That one there, yeah, that's been taken apart and thoroughly cleaned. So look how quickly it's reached 48 degrees Celsius. I'm going to set mine gets set about 43, 44. That's for the household. That's a pretty good thing. I'm going to run the boiler for a few minutes. Just let it go through its thingy process. It's drop temperature because I'm running the tap water on a full whack basically. Okay, and I think it's been a success story now. There's no bubbling out of this main exchanger unit on the top here. So if you do hear any popping or any sort of noise, you do need to pay attention. Whoops! It's extremely annoying when you're trying to record something through the tripod. So as I said, I'm repeating myself. If you hear any burbling or a popping noise, you've got a blockage here somewhere. Okay, and this needs to be cleared, and the other one needs to be cleared once a year. That unit needs to be serviced as well. You've got to make sure that this Fockeria requires around about 1 bar of pressure and 1 bar of pressure on the exchanger vessel, basically. Yeah, I think everything's good. Everything's running fine. The hot water's running. There we go. Yes, the kitchen's in a bit of a mess. That's because I've been working in it for the last hour or so. Everything's a winner, basically. Absolutely brilliant. There's no air. We've got to release there's an air valve on here. Once I've put the old heating back, I've turned the main water on, and there's a little valve on the top. I had to release the water, air from that as well. That's been taken care of. So I think it's a winner, basically. Absolutely. That's all, guys. Take care and bye for now.